All right, this is my audience. That's Tucker, that's Brennan, Murray, and that's Weston. The development of technology has grown extremely rapidly over this past decade. Our cars, they have GPSs, they have touchscreens, they have Bluetooth systems, and they have cameras, TVs, and they're even driving themselves now. And then you have our computers. Our computers used to be huge boxes, and now they're just little screens that you can do a lot more on them, and you can do it a lot quicker. And then our phones. Our phones are basically computers within themselves now. You can download applications, you can access the internet on the go, you can call and text people on the go, and you can honestly connect with people in places that you couldn't in the past. And this is all to say that technology is growing, and it's going to keep on growing no matter what we do about it. And technology can help the workplace be more efficient. It helps the workplace be more organized, and it's just extremely beneficial in a lot of different fields of our lives. However, whenever it's used in extreme conditions, it can do the exact opposite. It can kind of affect us negatively. So today I want to talk to you guys about how some issues are presented whenever technology use is abused, and then I want to talk about how we're affected by technology in a negative way, and then I also want to propose a solution to how to avoid being addicted to technology. So through psychology.com, I found that people, on average, or the average person, they will access their phone 110 times a day. And so you can probably give or take a little bit depending on the person, but on average, people are looking at their phones, no matter what it's for, over 100 times a day. And that sounds like a big number to me. Secondly, I found that 80% of the US population right now is currently using a social media of some kind of source, whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, anything. 80% of the population right now is using some kind of social media. And then finally, they interviewed a big amount of teens to figure out how the addiction to phones is growing. 50% of the interviewed teens said they were addicted. They confessed up to it, but that doesn't include the people who weren't confessing up to it. So that number's honestly 50+%. We're becoming addicted to technology. And so I found on addictionexperts.com that whenever we're addicted to technology, it builds a distance between us as people. This is to say that we're becoming too dependent on technology to connect with one another. We're becoming too dependent on talking to one another through technology and technology alone. This is like whenever you see a relationship of people, they're always on their phone, they're always texting, they're always Snapchatting, and they're always having a good time through technology. But then whenever you see them in person, they're just sitting there real awkward-like, and they can't say anything to their face because they have literally lost the capability of interacting in a genuine relationship face-to-face. And furthermore, I found that the things that we can access through the internet so quickly, they're starting to build bad behaviors and bad thoughts in us. And that's what I found on the website. And that it also said that it implements these bad ideas into our heads. For example, being addicted to pornography. That's an extreme case, but it's the perfect example because we get that immediate gratification to sex rather than experiencing it in person. This is all to say that people are using a virtual world, a fake world, to experience real world things, and they become too dependent on it and that connection. And then lastly, the amount of fatalities that are connected to wrecks with people being on their phones is growing. It's been growing in the past 3 years, and it's been shooting up tremendous. Now, technology doesn't have to be such a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. It should keep growing, I think. But we have to find ways to manage how much we're using it. So the solution to this is that we have to literally control an exact amount of time that we will be on our phones, or that we'll be on playing a video game, or that we'll be watching a movie or watching TV, and kind of increasing the amount of time that we spend with one another as people and engaging real world relationships. Not only that, we need to make sure our kids don't be interacting with technology too much, because then when they grow up in that, that's all they want to do is be on the phone, be playing video game. Secondly, kind of connects to the third, is that people just really need to do things that don't necessarily need technology. They need to do things that don't require technology use. So like whenever we go to a movie with somebody, it's cool because we're there with them and we're watching a movie, but you're not interacting. You're not talking, you're not connecting. You're sitting there looking at a screen. And you're depending on technology as a source of being with somebody. And so this is to say that you should also be able to put your phone away for a couple hours a day. Turn it off, unplug for a couple hours a day. That way you have more face-to-face time with people. Technology is a good thing, but it can become a bad thing, especially when it becomes an addiction, because we lose our relationships with people, lose our relationships with ourselves, and then we also can hurt people. If we can just control the amount of time that we're actually on technology and using it for beneficiary ways, then there's no problem there.